Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Can you thumbs up, Christoph? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, perfect. Yes. Okay, so we're all set. Welcome, everybody, to another webinar about industry solutions. This time we will talk about manufacturing operations, and I'm here today with my colleague Frédéric Duchy. He's our product specialist at Baserow. He was going to do the demo today about what he has built without writing code. I'm Olivier Mas. I'm the co-founder and Chief Revenue Officer of Baserow. And today we have a guest speaker, Christophe Zanetto, out of France. He's actually one of our key partners in the manufacturing space called Pinkflow. They do a lot of manufacturing specific solutions, and they have been a great inspiration for us in order to know what exactly we need to build to address the different topics that we're going to talk today. So Christophe, thanks for joining today. The way we are going to run the webinar today is as follows. I'm going to talk a little bit about the scope of today's solution, as I do every time that we do these webinars, how we actually build it so that you have an understanding of the tools behind it. Talk a little bit about no code and open source and how this helps in the solutions that we're talking today. And then we'll go straight into a live demo. That's where we'll see how you can build this solution. It will also be available as a template. And after that, Christophe is going to talk us about some real use case about how this actually has been implemented at some of their customers, but also talk about interesting solution that they have that complements the solution we're going to talk about today to provide an end-to-end solution at our customers. And then we'll have time for Q&As. So let me talk about first the what we or our customers are trying to achieve when we talk about manufacturing excellence. One of the biggest things is related to alignment of what we call operational targets with the actual workers in the factory floors that need to do the work. So to make sure that everybody is aligned on the target and knows what to do and track them in real time, which is, key performance indicators are something that typically are set at the management level, but then to include your workers and to make sure that everybody knows if they're on track, you want to have as real-time tracking as possible. Then you want to have a closed loop between your planning, your execution, your metrics, and then your continuous improvement. So we'll show you how to do that. And you want to ultimately act faster with real-time information. So if one shift has certain information, how to pass that to the next one, how do you make sure that you react fast, if you start to see quality issues. So that speed of responsiveness is something that most of our customers are looking for. Then an important one is what we call the creation of co-ownership. So you don't want to have the management or the quality assurance or the security teams having their own set of rules and plans.
Hi. Yeah, seems like we have lost Olivier, but no problem. We'll continue in a second. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look. Yeah. First of all, maybe let's start over a little bit. Can everyone hear me clearly? Just show some thumbs to be sure that I'm talking to someone. Yeah. Okay. Very well. Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, Olivier already mentioned that he had some problems with his laptop battery and that the charger was not working. So he probably lost connection, but hey, no worries. Let's just continue. So he was talking about the challenges to address when it comes to solutions for manufacturing. And yeah, we sum up a couple of them. Having your data distributed in a lot of different locations, a lot of different teams and departments, and also that a lot of organizations don't really want to trust on spreadsheets or purely on SaaS solutions. Yeah, also the lack of developers. Developers cost a lot of money. If you have some kind of a low code or no code tool that can help you, then it offers you a great solution, which also refers to the cost, that it needs to be affordable, of course. Okay, so the solution we want to present is one that we created in Baserow, an integrated operations platform that needs to support the continuous improvement. So you have the 4 phases: the plan, do, check, act. And we have set up a template database to set and manage objectives, to translate those objectives into action plans. In the execution phase, you have the Gemba walks and Andon calls where you can gather data, also do follow-up of action management. You can check your SQCDP metrics to check if everything goes as planned, or that you have to act in the final phase to adjust your plans, to refine your objectives. So this entire circle will be shown in the demo. How did we build this? Well, we did it inside Baserow, and Baserow at the moment has 2 components. We have a component for the database. So we started as a database platform, and we still are mainly a database platform. But we also have a second component since about 1 year. It's still in beta, but it will go out of beta, I think, next month. It's the application builder that allows you to build applications on top of your database. And what is more, it allows you to build applications that spans multiple databases. So we already discussed, okay, no code overcomes the problem of a shortage of developer. It can reduce cost, but what we see with a lot of no code tools, that they are SaaS only and they are closed source. So if you pick one, you have no control where your data is stored. And if they go out of business, then your solution is also gone. A lot of them have problems with scaling. They offer limited access to their API. And yeah, you don't own your data, it's stored somewhere, but you don't have any control about it. And this is why open source is an enabler for a lot of businesses, because we can guarantee business continuity. You don't have a vendor lock-in. If an open source tool goes out of business, well, you still have the source code. You can deploy it on your own servers. Which brings us to security. You can self-host it. There are a lot of codes inspections. A lot of people are working on the platform. Also for scalability, a lot of deployment methods like Kubernetes, Docker, and so on. And it's extensible. If it doesn't completely fulfill your business case, well, you can customize it and you can add plugins to it. Okay, before we step into the demo, let's have a look at the questions. I have one question for the moment. So does this work with the SAP ECC on-premise? So for deployment, yeah, I'm not a specialist in deployment, but we support deployment on-premise. So you can do it through a Docker container. You can also set up a Helm chart. You can do it through Kubernetes. There are a lot of deployment methods with documentation available on our website. So let's have a look at the demo we've prepared. So we have a couple of databases. We have database that contains employee information. We have a database that contains information about the objectives, about the action plans, for Andon calls, Gemba walks, and SQCDP. And all those databases can communicate with each other with a integrated operation platform as the end application. So let's have a look into it. Let's start with the first step. So I have my databases over here. So everything is in one single workspace. Maybe just refresh it. Yep. I have everything in one single workspace. I have a database with employee information, so about their office locations, the units they are working, and so on. And as you can see, my employees database, it's for the HR department. It contains a lot of information, a lot of personal information of the employee, like the home address, birthday, some internal remarks, they started, and date for those who don't work there anymore. So I don't want to share this information with my entire organization. And what you can do in Baserow is, if we look at the objective key results database, I can create a synced table. And in my synced table, I only share a certain portion of the information of my employees table. And new in the latest Baserow release is that you can always adjust the fields you want to sync. You can sync a certain view, and you can also do an automatic sync. So this is set to manual. I have to manually sync it. You can set it to daily or even to sync it every hour. Okay, so I sync my employee information, and then I have objectives. So for my organization, I have 3 objectives. I want to improve production efficiency, enhance product quality, and I want to reduce the operational costs. I have a description, they have a start date, an end date, and I have a number of key results that will check if I reach this objective. So, for example, to enhance product quality, I'm going to train the staff, and we're going to reduce the defect ratio. So I have a target value. So quality must be 99%. So defect ratio must go down from 3 to 1. And my staff must be trained 100% instead of 75%. Instead of 75% of my staff. So I have my target value, current value, and I have the progress together with a status. So this database can be used to manage objectives and key results, but as I mentioned, you can do this in an integrated application. And this is my integrated application. I have my dashboard over here where I see the same objectives, or I can go to my objectives menu over here. And for example, reduce the operational costs. It has 4 key results. I click on it, I see the exact same information as in my database, but a little bit nicely presented. And you also see I have associated action plans. More about this later, also associated metrics. And I have my key results over here. So like, for example, reduce the energy consumption. It has not started yet. Well, let's say it's in progress. My target value is 10, and let's say we are at 2 for the moment. I update it, immediately my interface updates, and if I go back to my database, and let's have a look, reduce my energy consumption, what you see, current value is 2%, status is updated to in progress. So from within my application, I can manipulate my database. So that's the first database. The second one, then we go to the action plan. So we're still planning, we're setting objectives, we're setting key results, and we are going to create action plans. And besides my employees, I also sync my objectives and key results table. And I'm going to create a plan. So to, let's say, reduce operational costs, that was an objective. Well, one of the plans is energy usage analysis. And this plan is linked to an objective. I have a scope, an outcome, someone who created it, date it is created. And I'm going to split down a plan into milestones. And if I check my milestones table, I'm going to narrow it down into multiple tasks. And if I check my task table, I'm going to split up tasks into multiple actions. So it's linked to an objective, it's linked to a plan. I also involve key results over here. So one task must be able to be measured by a key result. And I narrow it down into actions. So this database can be hard to manage everything from inside my database, but I can manage this through my application. So let's go back to my homepage, and you see that my employee here, Elizabeth, she has 3 open tasks for the moment, and 1 icon here because this is a task that is overdue. Deadline was the 8th of January. So let's have a look. This is the tasks she has. It is linked to a certain plan. So I can go to the plan. The plan is linked to the objective. So now I'm back to the objective, and you see the plans that are associated with the objective. So everything is linked together, and you always can go from a certain action plan into the milestones and tasks, and you can update them. For example, workflow bottlenecks identified. Let's say it's no longer blocked, but it's back on track, back in progress. Okay, I can update this milestone, and the color dot in front changes. I can also add a new task to this milestone. So this is a demo, for example, with a demo description. I can set a due date. I can assign it to someone, and I'm going to set it to a certain key result. Okay, now it's added. This is a demo. It's not started yet, but again, I can say, okay, this is in progress. It's completed. I can add some notes to it, and everything syncs back to my database. I also have my associated key result, and I can add some actions over here. So if a task is assigned to someone, you can create a certain date and say, I did something for this task. I'm going to add the action. The action is added over here. And again, it's also added in my database. So yeah, you can see the record over here. So I have my objectives, I have my key results, I have my action plan associated with them. Then it's time for the daily operations. For example, you can have an Andon call so that there's an emergency happening and we need to respond to it. I did this in a separate application. So those are my databases and those are my applications. And until now, I've been working in the integrated operations platform application. I have my home page. I have my page for objectives. I have my page for action plans and so on. And everything is linked to each other. And I have multiple data sources that gets my data from my database and display it here. But I also have an application for Andon calls. So let's go to my application. I set it in a mobile style because normally on the work floor, it will be on a mobile device. So if I want to raise an Andon call, then I can scan a QR code to quickly select my station. So let's give it a try. This is my QR code. It found a station, being assembly station 1. This is the responsible for it. And now I select a category. For example, it's a delivery problem, yeah, a power failure. And then I have my date. Well, it's for today, optional notes. We have a failure, and I'm going to raise the Andon call. So the call has been made. Donald Johns, who is the station manager, has been informed about the call. Again, if I check my database, this is my Andon database. In calls, I have a new record. Here we have a failure. And now it is to the station manager, who is automatically assigned to it, to respond to the call. And we go back to our application. Let's log out and say, okay, I need Donald. Okay, and if Donald goes to the home page, he sees that the Andon call, so this one has just been made. He sees the Andon call here. If he clicks on it, he can mark it immediately as resolved, but let's say problem solved. That's the response he added to it. The response is over here. Outcome is still pending, but let's say, hey, this is a success. So the outcome is updated and he can mark the issue as resolved, which is again automatically updated in the database. The next part are the Gemba walks. So the main difference is the Gemba walk is scheduled, while an Andon call is something that is raised, that just happens. So I also have a mobile application for this. I'm now logged in as Eric, and Eric is participating in 2 Gemba walks. If I have a look at my database over here, I have all my stations. I have scheduled walks, and a walk is always about a station. I have some required attendees. So Eric conducted those 2 walks. There's a certain objective for it. This one is in progress, and I can make 1 or more observations. So the delivery coordination walk, let's select it. And there are already some issues noted, for example, damaged pallets. I get over here, okay, it's for this walk. This is the description. Richard reported it. Eric has to solve it. It's a delivery problem, medium priority, and I also have an image of the problem. Let's go back and add a new observation. This should be fixed. So loose guard, for example. I can select an image. Let's select this one. And I automatically have my reporter. Let's assign it to Donald, for example. Status is reported. Might be important, so it's high priority because this is about safety. So let's submit it. The issue is submitted. Okay, and if I now go back to my application over here, back to the home page. If I check my Gemba walks, let's have a look over here. Yeah, so I have my walk. This should be fixed. I have my image over here. And again, those are all the details. So who is it assigned to, what the pillar, and then you can add an action to it. Let's just do a demo action. Yeah, and an action is added over here. And yeah, I can again set the status of my action. I have chosen to do the actions in a separate table for the Gemba walks, but it was also possible for me to refer to an action here in my action plans, but then it needs to be associated with a certain task. So this is now a design choice to keep them separated, but it's perfectly possible to merge them into one single table. Okay, this brings us to the last part. So we already covered the objectives. We have action management, also with an overview of all the tasks. We had the Andon calls. We have the Gemba walks. This brings us to the daily updates. Let's first of all check the database again. So I have my SQCDP, and Those are my 5 pillars. So SQCDP, safety, quality, cost, delivery, and people. And I have defined a number of metrics. So safety is measured by the number of accidents and near misses on a day. Quality is defined by number of customer complaints, defect ratio, and inspector failures, and so on. So those are all the metrics stored in a table, and I have set a target for each metric. So for example, for accidents, well, it's preferred to have 0 accidents a day. I also have a threshold table where I say for accidents, so as long as I have 0 accidents, label it as excellent. If I have 1 or 2 accidents, then it might need improvement. If I have 3 or more accidents up to 99, then it's simply unacceptable. Another example, defect ratio. If it's between 0 and 1, well, the target is 2, so that's excellent. Between 2 and 4, yeah, okay, still fine. Between 5 and 7 needs improvement. Everything above 8 is just unacceptable. So I did this for each metric. And then I have my daily updates where I update or set the value of today for a certain metric, and automatically through the use of formulas in Baserow, so by using a filter formula, it assigns the judgment. Let's go back to my application. So, yep, I have all my metrics over here. So, yeah, okay. Like the defect ratio. So defect ratio hasn't been entered today. It's part of the quality pillar. Those are the threshold values that I get from the database, and those are my most recent updates. So let's say for today that defect ratio was simply terrible, that we reached 7%. I add it, it automatically says, okay, the value has been updated for today, but it says it needs improvement. Yeah. So this is how I can track all the values. If I want to display the values, I see it over here. So for the last 10 days, number of accidents, a green dot means, okay, it's excellent or good. A yellow one needs improvement. A red one is simply unacceptable. And we have display over here that shows my 5 pillars. It shows all the metrics, and it shows my most recent data. Also, the average, minimum, and maximum. So like for cost saving, yeah, this is my sum. This is the average, minimum, maximum savings. So to offer you a nice overview. Okay, and actually, if we have a look at it, this closes the entire circle. So I did my planning in my objective key results with the action plans. I have my daily operations over here with the Andon calls, Gemba walks that I can check through my metrics. And depending on my daily updates where I see, okay, certain metrics are, let's say, unacceptable, well, it helps me to, again, refine all my objectives and key results. Because, and that's really the important part, everything is linked together. I have my pillars, and a pillar is always linked to one of the objectives. Just like I have a metrics, and the metrics are always linked to one or multiple key results here in my database. Yep. So depending on the daily updates, I can say, okay, we are on track to reach our objectives, or we have to add new objectives, or we need to refine the objectives. So this was the demo in a nutshell. If you want to get started yourself, everything I demoed is available at baserow.io/templates. So we have a, I'm not going to say huge database of templates. We have 111 templates. So it's a nice database of templates. And if you want to have, for example, the Andon calls, search for Andon, and you can simply install this template. It comes with the database, it comes with the application. So I divided the big integrated application, I divided it for each part. So for Andon, I have my registrations, which is the mobile part. I have the management, which is part of the integrated operations solution. The same goes for the Gemba Walks. So also template is available. You can install it and you can start using it. If you want to know more about building your own databases, tweaking templates, building your own applications, I can advise to go to the Baserow Academy. We have already the fundamentals course and the advanced course ready. Expert course is coming by the end of the month or early March. And it covers everything about Baserow, from the very basics of setting up a basic database to the more advanced parts like using formulas and creating applications. Let's have a look at the questions. So we have one question here. Is it a Postgres that's being used? Yeah. Yeah, indeed. So the database used behind Baserow is a Postgres database. You can access it through Python as long as you are self-hosting. So things sound fair that you cannot ask have access to the entire database of our SaaS version of Baserow. But when you're self-hosting, you can connect to Postgres, but we recommend to do all the actions to the database through our API. So all actions you are doing in Baserow can be done with the API, since the platform is built API first. But in theory, it's possible to directly interact with the underlying Postgres database. Also, is there an ability to make API calls from Baserow to other systems? Not from within Baserow yet, but you can use an automation tool like NA10, which is also an open source tool, and you can make API calls to the Baserow platform and use that data to make API calls to an external platform. The interface is built. Yeah. Yeah. All the interfaces are done with the application builder. So if I want to have my display over here, this is done with our application builder. Also for the integrated platform, for the action plans, it's done with the application builder. Okay. Before going into more questions, maybe you can do the questions at the end of the webinar. So Christophe, I would say the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I hear you perfect.
Okay, well, thank you, Frédéric. And so I work for Pinkflow. We are a French company based in the north of France, and we have been building systems with a Baserow since approximately, I would say, 2 or 3 years. So I will also share a quick demo and a few slides for everyone. Olivier is back.
Yes, apologies, but my laptop somehow didn't charge anymore, so I found a new charger. Apologies for that. So I'm back for answering the questions later on.
Great. So I'm just trying to share the screen. Up. It doesn't seem to work for the moment. So. Maybe Olivier, if you want to complete while I'm trying to check my screen share.
Yes, okay, I can check if you have all the settings.
Maybe I will ask you to share my link, because it doesn't seem to work on my side.
Okay, do you wanna send it here in the
in
the moderator chat? Okay.
So
whilst we're doing that, Frédéric, do we have more? Here we go. Okay, probably share that actually. Let me do that.
So I will show you very quickly what PinkFlow can bring, like solution that is compatible with Baserow. So basically, we have many clients in the manufacturing world, and we've been working with these clients for over 10 years. And they used to have Excel files or write on paper on dashboards. So now we have this this Baserow solution that is great because we can directly put this in the system for the clients and also bring a visual touch. So basically, PinkFlow is a real-time digital signage solution. You just need a few screens, and then you can display different boards. Or the app builder that Frédéric also showed. We have different expertises, digital transformation, user experience, and everything around IT and OT. Maybe on the next slide.
Yes.
You will discover the main use cases. So these are the ones we also have seen in demonstration. We also have activity tracking, which is one of our expertise, real time, connected to your different machines, for example. And then Andon system, performance management and communication are some of the use cases we've just also seen with Frédéric. So I will show you just after a demonstration. And on the next slide, maybe we can launch this video without the sound, just for you to see.
Yes.
There was a question early on from someone asking if we could use the Baserow API. So yes, that's also why we work with Baserow, is we managed to build the different data sets, and then we are able to connect the different sources to the different boards that you can see here on the demonstration. So it's very customizable. And then you can display this directly on the big TVs for the different use cases. So we connect Baserow, and we also connect lots of other data sources.
So maybe to complement to that is we have so basically we have what we call an independent software vendor program. So this is a partnership program for companies like PinkFlow that building solutions on top of Baserow. So the idea is that you'd be able to take the software and to rebrand it in the kind of PinkFlow. They give it a different name, and it's part of the other solution. So in this case, you have digital signage that is put to the endpoint, whereby workers would interact with some of the data that is structured and captured in Baserow, and Baserow is used by another set of users, commercial managers, quality managers, and it's actually built in a way that it's very customizable. So we really
I think we cannot hear you, Olivier, right?
Okay. We cannot hear us.
Maybe if you can share the second link, Olivier. So this is one of our French clients that is named Mezzo. This is an example of before and after.
Yes.
Or maybe Frédéric. Ah, yes, this is the link.
Absolutely.
This is a link that you can find on the website that we're going to show you that shows different pictures of the system before and after. So it's very easy to see how it works. And after that, I will show you a quick demonstration.
This one.
Yeah. So this is the English version. So if you scroll a bit down, we'll see many different pictures of the setup. And the difference. So these are the kind of screens that we use for the solution. And what's very important is that you can display something on the screen, and you can also have the builder on a mobile app, for example, and everything will communicate well together. So this is a client that digitized everything in a few months. On the left, we can see all the different paperboard and charts that he used to have. And then on the right, once everything is digitized, thanks to Baserow and the PinkFlow solution, you can see what it looks like. Today, most of the data they use is in Baserow, and they managed to build almost everything that we've also just seen. Action plans, also the Andon calls. So it's very flexible for them to start very small, and then once they were trained, I would say today they have the full hands to build new use cases. So that's why it's also interesting for us to have such a flexible tool. And basically, so we have many clients like this that start from scratch, from paper, and that we try and digitize when they are ready to. So I have a last link to show you, which is the third link, which is a real demonstration of what the board can look like. And we also see the app builder action management use case that is included inside. So this might help people to understand how you can basically work with the two solutions at the same time. Yeah, so maybe if we do a right click in the page, we can translate it in English, because this is the French version. But I'm not sure there's many French people in the call today. Ah, yes, this is better. So what we have here, different data. So we can also see the Gemba Walk, the safety cross, lots of KPIs that some of you already have, I suppose. What is interesting here is that if we have a look at the actions on the bottom right and click on the small zoom, we will enter directly in the builder that Frederic was also showing just before. So this is another template, I would say, which is action management, and on which it's very easy to also edit the actions, delete them, also have different views. For example, on the top, you have 3 buttons, statute, theme, etc. So this is also one of the major benefits of these kind of tools, is that the same data can be displayed in different ways. So that's very demanded by our different clients. So basically, this is like the app builder that Frederic was showing is this. And if you go back to the home page, this is what we can also do with PinkFlow. So it's quite complementary, which means you can build the different use cases on the app builder, but you can also maybe sync other data or PDF documents. For example, if we click on analysis of cause or quality chart or whatever, you can see that we can also bring different documents directly on your screens. That is also something that is wanted to be digitized more and more. So I think that's it for the small demonstration. Hope it was clear. And Salome has shared the link for people who want to see the Metso use case. You also have a nice video that explains before and after and how it works.
Great. Can you hear me now?
A bit.
A bit, okay. Frederic, maybe you can conclude. Or do we need to go through some of the questions?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. First of all, Christophe, thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah. Which let's make sure I'm on the right screen. Yeah. Which takes us to the Q&A. So if you have any questions, yep, please put them in the chat, and we will be very happy to answer them. Most of the common first question in a webinar is this recorded and will we be able to view it after the webinar? The answer is yes. So we are recording this session and you will get automatically an email once you are registered that holds the link to the webinar. Do we have any use cases in India? Olivia, I'm gonna look at you for this. No, not yet.
we have
Okay.
we have one in PingFlow that are also using Baserow. So what I showed just before, we also have the use case in India, and they are starting to use the action plans and the action management system. But I think basically the use case, you can do the use case everywhere in the world as long as you have internet and access to the solution that works.
The second question is from Tom, but yeah, I see. Oh, maybe Christophe, can you answer the question? Is PingView using Baserow?
Yeah. So
Yep.
basically, PingView is a system on which you can connect different data sources. So that's why we managed to do something with Baserow, because you have the APIs in Baserow that are well structured and fully compatible. So we build the use cases in Baserow, and then we can connect them to the screen, the digital signage solution on PingFlow. So part of it is Baserow, yes.
Okay, thank you. Are there any more questions? The actual developing, can you clarify the question a little bit? So the question is, do you have any videos or presentation where the actual developing is shown? From the Baserow side, we have the Baserow Academy that shows you how to, that actually shows every step, how to create a table, how to create a page, how to create a data source. We also have some tutorial videos on our YouTube channel, specifically for the application builder, that explains all the basics from the application builder in 5 steps. So from creating a page, a data source, adding an action to it. But most of the developing on Baserow is shown in the Baserow Academy.
And same on PingFlow. If you go on the website, you can see a bit more how it works.
Yeah. Do we meet the EU GDPR standards? Yes, we are GDPR compliant, and also I'm not sure, Olivier, SOC compliant or SOC 2 compliant. Yep, and I'm not sure if it's relative. For the other one is the HIPAA compliance, but that's for healthcare only, I assume. Yep. And yep, the nice thing about Baserow, and that was also part in the introduction, nice thing about Baserow and the main difference with other no-code tools is that we allow self-hosting. So you can actually deploy a Baserow instance on your own servers. I also see that there was a question. Is there a way to use Baserow and PingFlow to implement a medical record system? Actually, with Baserow, if we check the template library, we have a template that shows a patient file. So that shows a medical record. Christophe, when it comes to PingFlow, do you have any use cases in medical or in healthcare?
Not yet. Not yet, but it's something towards which we can also evolve. So why not?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The easiest way for self-hosting to evaluate is through Docker Compose. So if you check our website, self-hosting through Docker, you just need to have the Docker engine running on your machine, and it's just a simple command, Docker Compose up, and it will deploy a Baserow instance on your local machine that you can that you can use for evaluation. Yeah, so for Baserow, you have two options. You can use our SaaS version on baserow.io, or you can host it yourself on premise on your own servers, or you can host it on a cloud platform like AWS, Azure, Cloud Run, Heroku, and so on. N8N is an automation tool. It's not part of Baserow, but it's also an open source tool, which means that you can also host it on premise through a Docker container, or you can, I think it's supported in Cloud Run, or you can host it on Azure, AWS, and so on. But Baserow and N8N are two separated tools, but they are both open source. Okay. Yeah, it indeed says soon, so it's a work in progress, but yeah, we don't have an exact timing for it. Yeah, second half of the year. Okay, thank you. In the template library, we have a lightweight CRM applications. Okay, I'm almost deaf. Yeah, so any applications on ERP or small businesses? Yeah, we have the lightweight CRM template in our template gallery, and if you just look for a small business or a business continuity, business improvement, you will also find other templates. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think this is it. Well, if you have registered for the webinar, then you definitely have received an email with the confirmation. You have our contact details. So yeah, if you're interested in using Baserow, get in touch with us. If you're interested in using PingFlow, get in touch with Christophe. So Christophe, thank you again for joining us today. And yeah, to everyone who attended the webinar, thank you very much for attending, and see you again in one of the following webinars, or yeah, just sign up and start using our platforms. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.